The Procedure in Paradise. A short story by Tyler Spraggins. I used to love my grandma's house. I go there with my mom and dad several times every year. My grandma's home used to be a farm, 8 acres of land. Despite how much land she owns, my grandma chose to keep her house small, leaving a huge backyard surrounded by dense forest. She loves wildlife, often riding around on her golf cart to leave food for birds, squirrels, woodpeckers, and I once even saw a salt lick for the deer near her woods. The highlight of our trips, however, has to be the ride through the forest on the clearing through it. We usually go before noon when the forest is nice and cool, but the sun is still bright. You don't see a lot of wildlife on these trips, but the scenery alone is enough to draw you in. The wood is full of lush greens and hanging vines. The ground is mostly dirty brown, but has some sprouts of grass poking up. The best part of the ride is the valley near the end. You get to look past it as you drive by, seeing the fallen trees that are shockingly pretty as the beams of light cut through the upper canopy. This time, though, our golf cart got stuck in a rut. I was the one driving. I had my driver's training course coming up soon, and my grandma, ever encouraging, would always want me to drive us. She rode shotgun next to me. When we hit the rut, she wanted me to get us out of it. Probably just something I would need to know as a driver. My grandma hopped out of the cart, and it was all me. I didn't really know what to do, so I just slammed the gas pedal all the way down, my right foot cramping in the process. The golf cart lunged forward, straight off the side of the edge, and barreled down the valley. Trees and branches beat at the cart as it spun, with me being tossed and thrashed around inside it all the while. Then everything went dark. I couldn't see Grandma's son anymore. The light turned on. I was lying still. I couldn't move. I was in a hospital bed, the room dark and grim. There were no windows, and everything was a sickly teal color. There was one door to my right, however. It was open, and I could hear my mom talking to somebody. "Are you sure he'll be okay without painkillers?" she asked the man. "Relax, it's a basic 2-hour procedure. I'll just pop the tube in his ear real quick and he'll be fine," the man replied. I heard a distant door shut. My mom was gone. I couldn't move at all. It seemed like I was looking out of my eyes, but when the man who I assumed was the doctor or surgeon approached, he acted like I was completely asleep, not seeing my eyes wide open. How was I awake? I wanted to scream. I needed to let the doctor know that I was conscious. I needed to be drugged or something. Would I just have to sit there and endure a medical procedure, feeling everything that was done to me? But something else was off. The man mentioned putting a tube in my ear. I was born with holes in both my ears. I had to have several surgeries in which tubes were placed in those holes to help solve the issues. But that was all done with. I, for the most part, don't really need surgeries in my ears anymore. And if I was here because of the crash, why would my ear be the biggest concern? Then I was filled with horror as the realization hit me. I remember this place. For the first ear surgery I ever had when I was around 3 or 4 years old, my doctor recommended this one surgery place for me. The surgeon refused to give me painkillers, and I woke up 2 hours later screaming in agonizing pain. My mom later checked the reviews online and saw that many people had similar experiences with this place. If only she checked them before taking me there. That experience scarred me. I was terrified every time I went to the doctor's office after that. Now, I had to sit there and relive that pain, fully awake and aware the whole time. He turned my head on that side so my right ear was facing up. I hate that. I felt so vulnerable, like anybody could put whatever they wanted into my ear. The surgeon then shoved something metallic into my ear, not at all gentle, pushing slowly toward the innermost parts of my exposed ear. The pain was unbearable. I couldn't move my eyes to get a glimpse at what he was doing. I just felt the pain. It was like doing a plank for hours on end. Even though I knew it would only be 2 hours, it felt like so much more. The pain felt like wasps had nested in my ear, buzzing around and stinging the inside. When the tool finally got to the hole, I heard a beep and the pain immediately spiked. The tube was in. I was supposed to be at my favorite place in the whole world. My grandma's sledding plane was far out of my reach. This isn't fair. What did I do to deserve this? Worse still, when the tube was put in, it completely blocked the air in. The pressure was tight. The careless surgeon then ripped the tool straight out of my ear, releasing all the pressure like an explosive weapon. That suction was painful. There were also tickles in my throat, behind my eyes, and even a little in my nose. The mess the surgeon made in the right ear was enough to cause issues in the other connected body parts. I couldn't itch any of them or adjust myself to at all nullify the pain whatsoever. I continued to lie in pain. Little itches and nicks sounded all over my body, but I couldn't do anything about it. I still heard the buzzing in my ear. Weirdly enough, I could hear somebody shouting my name. It was my dad. Him, my mom, and my grandma were all calling for me, but I couldn't move. Hands were grabbing me by the shoulders, gentle yet firm. Then, when my vision stopped blurring, I realized what all the pain was. The golf cart had fallen on my side, and blood was everywhere. The front window shattered, cutting me all over my body, the roof of the cart having sliced through about 1/4 of my side torso. Not only that, but bugs had been crawling over my body, including my right ear, which had been exposed to nature the entire time I was unconscious. It was dark out, so nature had plenty of time to repurpose me since that morning. The hands belonged to what appeared to be response men, trying to save me. As they lifted me up, getting the cart off me, I saw that my torso was infested with so many insects. Colonies of ants, beetles, and even some stingered bugs that I hoped on my life weren't wasps had used my body as their new home. Wherever there was a hole or scale left by the glass, they were there. I couldn't make out what the men were saying, but they were shouting a lot as they carried me back up to the valley where the rut was. Since my grandma's home was so rural, it took them ages to reach me. I didn't know if I would make it. Even if all my wounds were patched, I certainly had some kinds of parasites or infections. I remember how ridiculous I was to think that my suffering was caused by a surgeon a minute ago. If I survive this, I'm never driving the golf cart again. I just want to go back to that sunny plain behind my grandma's house. I can't handle this. The world became dark again as I heard my grandma's voice, telling me it wasn't my fault. She probably knew I would feel guilty about ruining the cart, but I knew she had more important things in her life than a golf cart. Maybe I'll wake up in a hospital room again. Maybe they'll give me painkillers this time. Maybe I won't wake up at all.